Yeah. WTF Nation Radio. King and coach in the building. Veterans on deck. Welcome to the sports bar. Grab a seat, let's talk that talk. We the vets on the mic, never missing a beat. Sports bar live, pull up and take a seat. From the barracks to the booth, yeah, we carry that flame. Breaking down every play, put respect on the game. King with the facts, coach breaking it down. Every Sunday night, we the kings of the town. WTF Nation got the squad on lock, taking shots at the teams that can't stay on top. Yeah, I'm talking about New York, they know what's up. Jets and Giants, man, y'all always stuck. Every season, y'all promise that this our year. Then week 3 hit, and the crowd disappear. Welcome to the sports bar, turn the lights low. King and coach on the mic, let the adrenaline flow. Welcome to the sports bar, turn the lights low. King and coach on the mic, let the adrenaline flow. Welcome to the sports bar, turn the always go hard. Veterans in the building, welcome to the sports bar. Welcome to the sports bar, turn the lights low. King and coach on the mic, let the adrenaline flow. We got taste, we got stats, we got jokes for days. Breaking down every trade, every draft, every play. From the NFL battles to the NBA Heat, NCAA pack, them Saturdays elite. No script, no filter, we just speak what we feel. When the mics go live, man, the energy real. So raise that glass, tap in, let's ride. WTF Nation, yeah, we move with pride. Shout to the fans, the callers, the squad. Every single vet, holding down a pod. It's the show where the trash talk never too far. Welcome everybody to the sports bar. Welcome to the sports bar, turn the lights low. King and coach on the mic, let the adrenaline flow. Welcome to the sports bar, turn the lights low. King and coach on the mic, let the adrenaline flow. Welcome to the sports bar, turn me always go hard. Veterans in the building, welcome to the sports bar. Welcome to the sports bar, turn the lights low. King and coach on the mic, let the adrenaline flow. Yeah. WTF Nation Radio. King and coach in the building. Veterans on deck, welcome to the sports bar. We the vets on the mic, never miss a beat. Sports bar live, pull up and take a seat. From the barracks to the booth, we be bringing that flame. Talking sports every week, put respect on the game. King with the facts, coach breaking it down. Every Sunday night, we the kings of the town. Jets and Giants, man, they stay getting stuck. New York talk big, but they always out of luck. Welcome to the sports bar, the energy spark. King and coach run the
Good evening, the sports bar and sports fans here at WTF Nation Radio. I'm one half of this thing, the actual King Smith, and coming up and talking sports stuff with me is my main man, Coach. Coach, I'm about to bring you up. Introduce yourself, and then I need a huge favor.
Yo, what do you hear? What do you say? How y'all doing this week, King? What's up? What do you need, man?
Man, I need for you to talk for the first couple of minutes here. Maybe, I don't know, maybe something happened. Something happened that you might want to
All
discuss.
right.
I have to fix some technical things on the back
You're
end
all good,
side.
King.
So you know what, man? You have the floor. Let the people know something today.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I do want to let everybody kind of know something, and this is a little bit about all of us that are getting a little bit older and a little bit up in age right now. I just hit 45 this year, and that just meant that, yes, where Mr. Hanky, the Christmas poo, comes out, had to go ahead and get a nice little roto rooter up there a little bit on today. So, yeah, it was not a fun experience, especially last night while I was taking all of that ridiculous crap that they want you to do. And essentially, you're peeing, high C ecto cooler out your cornhole, all day. And then, well, the roto rooter comes in and they decide, and then, they goes up in there and they look for polyps and they send them out. And guess what? I did have a polyp. So it was about, the size of this is just about the tip of, a little bit of a little bit cleaner, brush cleaner right there. Just about the tip of it, 2 millimeters is what they called it. They took that out. It was the only polyp that they found, and they biopsied that. So pretty good with that. But as usual, things go pretty well, especially when you're underneath anesthesia. I get a little bit goofy right before I go underneath anesthesia and when I'm coming out of anesthesia. Well, today, nothing a little bit different happened there. And this kind of goes a little bit with pop culture radio as well as my own little sick, twisted humor today. As I was getting my anesthesia and getting prepared to go ahead and, have Mr. Winky, the brown eyed man, go ahead and have something shoved up there that really was going to see him from the inside out. Once I got into that room, I said, how many assholes we got on this ship anyhow? And well, a couple people you said yo, just like they did in Spaceballs. And yeah, well, hey, good. Well, Patrick, I'm glad that you feel like today is a Monday. Today is a Wednesday. Today's the day of my colonoscopy. And right before I ended up going right to sleep and I was feeling my lips tingling, I went ahead and said, I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes. And then, right as soon as I was about to go to sleep, I said, keep firing assholes. And went to sleep. Colonoscopy was done. Everything was great. Now, here comes the best part of it. As I am getting out of my colonoscopy, the attending anesthesiologist was talking to somebody regarding basketball. And somehow the debate came up. And, we talk about it all the time about who the greatest of all time is. And somebody was bringing up about how he felt LeBron James was the greatest of all time. This happened within the first 10 seconds of me waking up from anesthesiology and saying, oh, okay, you're going to go get my wife to the nurse. And then as that guy got up there, they're like, okay, you can just take your time and get up. 10 seconds later, I am up completely full and I am trying to get dressed because this guy had the audacity to say that LeBron James was the greatest basketball player of all time. 10 seconds out of anesthesia, and I'm already debating whether or not Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time with somebody who has never seen basketball past 2010 and unfortunately doesn't understand the differences of facts or the concrete facts that prove that Jordan was the greatest of all time. So, my first 10 minutes after my colonoscopy colonoscopy was a sports debate and tried to educate the gentleman that having 28 individual awards, one in the NBA, and on top of that, doing that in a less time period versus the 14 or 15 that LeBron James has won over a 23-year time period should be one of the ultimate examples of that. The fact that he played for 23 years and, still doesn't have as many 30-point games as Michael Jordan has had with about 7 to 8 years less at this point, could it be other? And the fact that, 6-0 in the NBA playoffs instead of 3-5, plus the fact that there were two dynasties, the Spurs and the daggone though Steph Curry's team, the Warriors, that were dominant in the time period that LeBron was playing, and he was not the dominant team, much like the Bulls were during the end of Jordan's last 3 years, the back-to-back the two three-peats. Okay, and then yes, I get it. He played baseball, and then he lost that game after not being in good shape. But blah 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 blah. All right. That's what I get 10 minutes after the colonoscopy. That's how my day started right there. But it proves to me that no matter what's happening, somebody's going to end up debating it, and somebody will always be wrong because it's just going to haunt me for the rest of my life. Somebody's going to keep saying LeBron's going to be the best player of all time. And you know what? While there's some stats that you have to make up to do this, the people who know basketball know that there is not a stat that needs to be made up for Michael Jordan, because all stats prove that Michael Jordan was better. Now, that being said, Victor fucking Wembanyama might become the greatest basketball player of all time. Might.
Yeah, if he can stay healthy with that frame, his frame concerns me, but
it came out coherent, Patrick. Those came out as coherent sentences. I was like wide awake. Like I literally went into full coach mode 10 seconds after coming out of the colonoscopy.
Man, so that was your first one?
Yeah, it was my first. Yeah.
I thought that
Jesus Christ, how many more do I gotta fucking do?
Hey, the reason why I ask is because when I grew up, I always heard it was 40, and I'm 41. So
Yeah.
it was one of the things that when I was 39, I was talking to my PTM. I was like, so the next time I see you, the colonoscopy thing, and she just smiled and said, actually, with the way things are now, we only recommend it if we see certain things, but we've pushed it to a later age. So I was like,
so that is the same exact thing. When I about 5 years ago, I went in there right around my 40th birthday just for a checkup and everything. And at the same time, too, I was having a massive ear infection, but that's a different story. But as I was getting checked out, everything was like, okay, so if you had these symptoms, if you were getting up at night, if you were doing such and such and etc., then you would want to go ahead and get that checked. Seeing that you're okay, they'll go ahead and they'll take care of the the thing, and the colonoscopy was done, and everything would be all right. So I was good on that. I don't think they allowed me to shit in the box, but they might give you that shit in the box type of thing.
okay,
Yeah, the shit in the box is a different type of thing.
yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah, and that's another thing too, and Corey just brought up he's due for another. All right. Yeah. So the colonoscopy is for about 10 years. So every, all the way up until I'm 105, I'm going to have to mark all those years with, that's when I'm going to need to get another colonoscopy. So, I guess I got about another 7 more colonoscopies left. Yeah. I will say this: the worst part of it had nothing to do with the Roto-Rooter. It was more the day before the liquid diet and just drinking nothing but Jello and Gatorade and that disgusting crap that they did. That I swear to God, I made Ecto cooler.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, thanks for sharing that, man. That was very informative and educational, and I'm not saying that facetiously. And I wasn't sure because y'all look, when we do our show, we have some stuff where we're like, there's a general overview of what we're going to talk about. And when Coach told me that he wanted to talk about his colonoscopy, I was like, how is that going to have a sports side to it?
Yep.
And voila, there he is. Coach
Yep. I swear to God, man, and Mrs. Coach was there. She could even bring it up because Mrs. Coach said that Michael Jordan was overrated, and she didn't like him because of him playing baseball and thought that he could play baseball and thought that he was too arrogant about that. And he's also got a point because she's also got a point because she also remembers what's happened over in Washington, and ever since then, him being the freaking owner of the Hornets and how bad the team is over there. Yeah, she's got a good point there, about some things being overrated, but she even agreed with me that Jordan was the best basketball.
He got to be drugs.
What the hell was that?
That was my soundboard. There was a comment over on Facebook by Miles. The drugs are great. So I said, you know what?
Drugs.
I just so happen to have a sound for that.
Holy shit. All right.
Leanne said, I walked into y'all talking about coaches colon. Good times.
Well, hey, I'm glad you walked into it because that's right now with after it feels like you can walk all the way through it. I can walk through it. It feels like a gerbil can do it. Richard Gere could probably walk through it right now after that one, but yeah.
Well, hey, y'all, look.
Actually, you know what? We do got to bring something up because Miss Buckley, by the way, yes, Mom. Or a Spanky, we do need to bring that up. We do want to bring up about the Texas A&M Aggies. My God, they're having a great season this year.
I am. Yes, I am.
I know.
Here in a little bit. Now,
no, it's all good. I just wanted to say that.
Good deal. If y'all see this hat, you can certainly go get this hat at shoparmywtfmoments.com. This hat is right there. I am rocking it. This is one of my favorite hats to go out in. It's got that trucker style hat to it. Like, I feel like I should go out there and put some dip in my mouth and go fire up.
Yeah.
Get on out there on the old open road. Y'all are looking at any of the merch that we rock. I go out and I rock our merch pretty often. I got a WTF Nation Radio shirt that I'll go out in, a WTF Nation Radio hoodie. I should have worn that today. But if you are looking at any WTF gear or merch, go to shoparmywtfmoments.com. My watch is over here listening to everything. Shut up, watch. All right. Now, today, as we get through our sports show, here in actually about 12 minutes, we're going to bring on somebody that just ran and completed the New York City Marathon. Now, Coach, have you ever ran a marathon before?
No. Closest I came was a 10K. I've never done or a 10 miler. I've never done a marathon.
Now, even in my most athletic, the most I've ever ran was a 5K. What's that? 3.1 to 3.2 miles?
3.1 miles. Yeah.
I just can't imagine myself doing anything more than 3 miles. And it's just the training that's and
fucking again, Air Force.
And again, this is
fucking Air Force.
Now this is coming from somebody. I did track in high school. I did the 4x4. So it's not like I wasn't used to running. I also was trying to keep myself in shape when I was active duty because I still had dreams of playing Division I football after my enlistment was done. But the long distance part of it, hey, to me, it makes no sense to run long distance like that.
Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen. So on U.S. Army WTF moments, you're bringing up about how the longest you've ever run was 3.1 miles when 4 miles, 36 minutes, division standard, monthly, shoot weekly if you had a real up sergeant major, or the infantry standard of 5 miles in 40 minutes. Oh my gosh, up and down Ardennes, there are going to be people that I hope are listening to this and shaking their head at you, King. My God, please, please, please. I get it. You wanted to keep your athleticism much in the same way that you wanted to keep your hair. But unfortunately, you are talking to the wrong crowd about distance running. My God, we have been scarred emotionally with distance running in the Army, okay? Please do not bring that up again that the longest you've ever run was a freaking 5K.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. Now, because our PT test, we was 2 miles. So, like, what's the reason for running longer than what you had to do for your PT test? It makes no sense to me.
Oh my!
By the Army, and this is why all of our veterans are coming out with bad knees, bad backs, and all of those jazz because they're putting that extra wear and tear on their body. And Congress, for some reason, seems to think that, or some people seem to think that the benefits and stuff that we claim after we get out is, extra. Why don't y'all put y'all bodies on the line and tell
First, let's
me?
also remember that disability is a compensation. It is not a benefit. It's a compensation.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yes. So let's
Deal.
just be quite honest. It's a compensation. Why?
Yes, tell the people why.
Fucking leg. You fucking leg. It's because there is a thing called pride, motivation, machismo, and being a fucking man. About having some pride in yourself and being above the rest. That's the reason why you jump out of a perfectly good airplane and you run more than frickin' 3.1. Ever do that. Oh, God. Off. Is my connection bad?
Yes, I wasn't sure if it was me. You were sounding, yes,
Yeah.
you were sounding very robotic, and
Yeah,
I
mine
couldn't
went bad.
hear every word. But I think you're good now.
All right, not a problem. Yeah, I just heard it. So okay, yeah. No, it's yeah. Look, even though we are going to get that have been hurt, it's so that our legs are strong enough to go ahead and complete the mission. That's the reason why. And yeah, I've got bad knees. I've got bad ankles. My ankles are one of the reasons I was medically retired. So
Mhm.
yeah, I could say that it definitely messed it up. But hell, I wouldn't trade that in for a fucking minute. You kidding
Same,
me? Jumping out of an airplane? I'd be freaking doing that. And if he said I got to run 4 miles in 36 minutes every month to do it, fuck yeah, I'd do it.
man. I like the way you think. There are aspects about my military service that I would not want to do again. But I mean, it's exactly what you said, and I've never really thought about that way. You're paying the cost to do the thing.
Yeah.
Period. And your service and your command dictates what that cost is. And
No, here's and I know we're getting a little bit more, forget sports, but this is more conditioning. Where we're also going to be talking about the marathon, with this marathon runner coming up. Um, the guys who were able to haul the gear the furthest in the worst regions and were able to do it with no problem were, all the SF guys, all the Green Berets. The majority of them that I know, they would load up with 100 pounds on their back, ruck out 20 miles, climb it and do it, and then have no problem doing it.
yeah,
That was bringing their essential gear with them so that they would be able to complete the mission. And that was the ones who I had the respect for because they were able to do that day upon day, month after month, and do it hard as hell. Okay. So, doing that and becoming like a green beret and going out on missions where you are everything you bring out with you is what you're taking for a week at a time. Yeah. you know you got to put yourself into that type of conditioning, and that type of conditioning can only be done by practice of doing that stuff and loading that stuff up on you.
no doubt, no doubt. Um, there was something else that I wanted to ask you, Coach. So you told me what your longest running mile
Yeah.
was. What was your fastest mile?
Oh, 2 mile.
Yeah.
Fastest 2 mile I ever did was 12:50.
Hey.
Yeah, 12:50 was my fastest. I was 21. I would normally be somewhere around a it would fluctuate too. I kid you not. Like winter, I'd be terrible. I'd be somewhere in like the high 14s, during the winter, and then during the summer, I'd be down in the low 13s, and breaking 12s while in the summer. I loved running in the summer more than I did in the winter, so that was always better for me that way.
Man, no doubt. All right. Well, Coach, we do have somebody here that is going to come on and talk about the New York City Marathon. I had a small chat with the person just before we ended up going live. Now, let me tell you, when you're looking at somebody that is an accountant, give me your version of what an accountant looks like and, kind of paint the picture for people out there.
Well, skinny, meek looking. I'm not going to say the most I'm not going to say the most muscular type of person, but I'm not going to say a geek or anything else like that. But somebody who's an accountant, you would think. I'm not going to say that they would be oozing. You wouldn't have the most athletic people in that department.
Same
I'd
here.
say that.
So,
We'll say that.
Yep. So I ended up going through a YouTube compilation, and I found several people that recently ran the New York City Marathon, and I found it fascinating because there were some people that were injured firefighters, cops, or veterans, and they were out there with prosthetics or various adaptive devices to be able to help them get out there, go and complete the New York City Marathon. And I just looked at myself as I'm, eating a sandwich on the couch, crumbs falling on my belly, and like, I feel some type of way about myself now watching these people go out here and do this marathon through New York City. And the other fascinating part about it was in some of the videos I watched was just the way that people in the different boroughs were cheering people on, and the way that the businesses were out there donating their time and electrolytes or protein bars or whatnot to help these people get through. And I'm pretty sure that there are enterprising people that are out there making some money during the event as well. But it fascinated me. I know that in our country, we do a pretty good job of organizing these different events. There was one bad incident that happened in Boston at the Boston Marathon several years back. But I know somebody that have ran several half marathons. I think this is the first person that I'm going to be able to bring up and talk to that has ran a full marathon, also a full marathon at an iconic type place. Like, we talk about the marathons. I think people say, man, like, I want to go run the New York City Marathon, or I want to run the Boston Marathon. Those are the top two that I always hear people talk about. I don't know any of the major ones in any of the other areas, but we've got somebody in the back who's an accountant. And this person does not look anything like an accountant. So we're going to go ahead and bring this person up. They go by Jay. Jay is in the building. What up, Jay?
Hi.
Hey, glad that you are able to join and talk about your experience. First of all, let the people know a little bit about you. And I'm just going to ask my first question after you do that. So after you let the people know about you, what the hell made you decide to go, you know what? I'm going to train and run a New York City Marathon. You have the floor.
Okay, well, I'm Jay. I'm an accountant, and right now I'm living in Maryland. So actually, since I was close enough to New York, I figured if I want to run a marathon, it might as well be the really big one near me. So that's kind of why I chose the New York City Marathon specifically. But overall, why I chose to run a marathon was I ran a half marathon last year, crossed the finish line, and I was like, I think I could run a full. So I just pulled the trigger on it.
Man, okay, so was this your first marathon?
Yes, it was my first marathon. I actually just started running last year too. So I went balls to the walls with it.
Okay, man, I did not know that. That is interesting. Now, I'm going to bring up something here. Talk me through deciding you were going to do it, like what month and year you just decided that you were going to do it, what you have to do to register, and then
Mhm.
any particular training things that you did to set yourself up leading up to the race.
Yeah, for sure. The New York City Marathon's not an easy marathon to get into. You can't just like sign up for it. There's a few different avenues you can take. You could do the lottery system and you put your name in and hope you get picked. You could be a pro athlete, which I'm not. And then you could do the charity route. So I decided, I think probably in December of last year, that I wanted to do the New York City Marathon after seeing all the videos from November. And I decided to apply for Team ALS because my uncle was diagnosed with ALS the previous year. So I kind of used it as like, okay, if they accept me, then it's kind of meant to be type of situation. And they did. I was really surprised because I don't have a lot of running background at all, considering I just started last year. So I thought they were going to be like looking for true runners.
Mm.
So I got in through the charity, and you have to raise a certain amount of money for the charity.
Okay.
I think it's between either 4,000 and 5,000, depending on the charity that you get chosen for. So I did that, and then you also have to register on top of that. They're just kind of guaranteeing you a spot in the marathon.
Talk to me a little bit more about that fundraiser. How easy was that to accomplish?
It was kind of hard. You actually have to put a lot of effort into it. I thought it was going to be way easier. I thought they also were going to help out a little bit more. They kind of gave some tips and tricks because like I've never fundraised before, but it's mostly just, you got to learn to be okay with being annoying and letting people know, hey, I'm not pocketing this money. It's going to a good cause. I still have to pay my way to the marathon. The only thing that I got out of this was raising money for something important to me, and then also having a guaranteed entry. But yeah, it was hard. It was a lot of like making funny videos to post online to get my face out there, annoying family and friends, going to random businesses to see if they would donate. A lot of cold calling people, but I got it done, surprisingly.
See, you just said a lot of things that I don't want to do. Like
Yeah.
going up and asking people to donate is my worst nightmare, and something that I think is one of my biggest weaknesses. I'm not a sales guy. I'm
Yeah.
not hey, I need you to, release the hard-earned money that you've, earned. It's for a
For
good
sure.
cause. But that's definitely something that I struggle with. There was a question, and you covered it, but if you don't mind saying it again, Corey asked, what was the charity?
It was Greater New York City United ALS,
Good deal.
but it was Team ALS for the marathon.
All right. Now, that was a little bit about the pre-prep stuff.
Yep.
Let's fast forward to race day, race morning. How did you feel waking up on race morning, and were you nervous, excited? Tell us a bit about that feeling.
Yeah, for sure. I was surprisingly very zen. I thought I was going to be like super nervous, over the top, anxious for it, considering it's my first and it's the New York City Marathon, which is apparently the world's major's hardest course, which I didn't know before I signed up for it. That's besides the point. But no, I was very zen. I was waiting for the nerves to kick in. It kind of didn't feel real. The morning's super long leading up to the race starting. I didn't start the race until noon, but I had to be up at 4 a.m. to make it to Staten Island. So I had a lot of time to just chill out once I got to the race startup area, which I think helped kind of keep me calm, and like I didn't have to go to the start. But yeah, it didn't really start feeling real until I crossed the start line. if I'm being completely honest. It was weird.
Now, I've got a race map that I'm going to bring up here. And
I could tell you the route too.
what was the atmosphere like at the
Yeah.
starting line? At Stanton?
So I'm definitely a slower runner. So I was at the back of the pack that was starting. So I feel like everyone was really excited to get up there and get going. But it's weird. It's just silence when you're going over the bridge because there's no spectators until I think around mile 5. So you're just on this bridge taking in all the views and hearing everyone's footsteps. And it was just a surreal experience as we were getting closer and closer to the start line. You could just feel people getting more and more hyped to like get this going.
Man, that's dope. Now,
Yeah.
Were there any points or any specific boroughs where the energy was a lot more exciting as you were running the course?
I would say the two that have stuck out to me was getting into Manhattan and then also the Bronx.
Yep.
Cool.
Those were insane vibes. And like
coming down
really
in Harlem,
coast
it
on them.
definitely is. Definitely
Yep.
in Harlem.
Yes. You coast. Like you will be feeling kind of crappy and then you just have all of these crowds just like hyping you up. Music's playing, people are screaming, they're giving out like shots and food, and it's just like a whole party vibe. It really helps float you through the course.
There's a comment from Corey on YouTube said, fuck all of that and fuck you. Now, at any point, sorry.
King, real quick. So, Jay, as you were going over the Verrazano, did you by any chance look to the right and see what is underneath the Verrazano bridge, underneath the right when you get into Brooklyn?
No, I didn't. What did I miss?
So King, and this is something pretty cool. If you bring that map back up,
all right.
I want to bring this up. So there actually is an active military base in New York City. Not a lot of people know about this, but right there where that start is, as you go into Brooklyn, right underneath the Verrazano to the right is Fort Hamilton, New York. Fort Hamilton is the MEP station for all of the branches of military, and that's where they host everything there. Plus, the New York National Guard is out of there, as well as one of the reserve units. But it is an active military post. So I actually knew the command sergeant major of the post. He was somebody I served in the 82nd with. And that post is the only active military base in New York City.
I did not know that.
That's crazy. I can't believe I missed that.
It's okay. It's something not a lot of people ever realize it, but yeah, that's actually where I went through MEPS and where I, when I left to ship out, that's where I shipped out of.
Wow, that's crazy.
Nice, man. That's dope. Now, Jay, did you hit a wall at any point during the race? And if so, how did you push through it?
I did. It was definitely a little later than I anticipated. It was around mile 22. It just felt like I was never getting to the mile 23 marker. I felt like I was running forever, and the crowd started to disperse a little bit more, and it just felt like it was never ending. Luckily, I had a running partner the entire time that I met through the charity. So we were kind of like hyping each other up when the other person needed it, and it definitely made it easier to get through it.
Do you think things would have been different if you didn't have that running partner?
For sure. We lost each other on the Queensboro Bridge for a good 10 minutes, and I was just sobbing because I was like, she's gone. I still have, 12 miles to go. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I need her to come back. She found me somehow. So we were able to finish it out together.
Good deal. Now, besides your running partner, did you have anybody else that was there supporting you while you ran?
Yeah. My parents and my sisters were there, as well as my husband. And
is that the handsome man that is in the photo that's right there on that picture?
Yes, it is.
I love the mustache. Got
a good mustache.
Definitely.
Where did they meet you at?
I was lucky. I got to see them 3 times on the course.
Oh.
Around mile 8, I think 17, and then I saw them at my parents at 25, and my husband was at mile 26.
Oh,
So it
yeah.
it definitely helps knowing that you're going to be seeing them. I got like a pep in
Yeah.
my step. I started booking it a little more. It
So
definitely helps.
so they went from where? From Brooklyn into Manhattan?
Yep.
And then that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it
Good.
was awesome. Hearing about their experience running around the city was also a really cool thing to hear.
Cool.
That's dope. Now, besides your parents and them cheering, part of the race experience is the signs and the different chants. Were there any signs or chants that gave you an extra boost that you saw and was like, oh, that's pretty dope, and let me keep going?
I saw a lot of run like you just robbed the Louvre because that just happened recently,
Yeah.
and that was really funny. There were you run better than the government. They're funny.
Whoa.
And there's a quote. I don't know if you guys know Twilight, but there's a quote that says, "You're incredibly fast and strong," and they just had like the sparkling vampires next to it, and it was really funny.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
So you talked about how live in Maryland, how New York City before doing the marathon.
I have, but when I was way younger, probably when I was around 10. That's the last time I've been there. So it was cool to see it as like with a grown up eye.
Wow. All right. So that's cool because I've been to New York City several times. I've stayed in different areas. Me and my lady, we just recently came back from the 9/11 museum.
Yeah.
And we had never been over to that area. So even though New York City's like not that big, there's so much areas that you can it would take me a lot to go through. So my question to you is, what surprised you the most about running through New York City, pretty much experiencing a lot of the different areas all at one time?
I would say even though there's like the different boroughs and they all kind of have their own personality and culture, they all have the New York culture, which is like, I'm going to hype you up and it's going to be a party and everyone's going to have a good time. At least that's what the vibe I was getting throughout the entire race. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I noticed. And it's kind of crazy when you're taking the bus to the start. You're seeing all of the places that you're going to be running through. And it's just a really surreal experience getting to do that.
Coach?
Hey, so you finish up at Tavern on the Green. You get to the finish line. You're in Central Park.
Yeah.
Tell me, walk us through. Everything's done. You complete it. How do you feel? What are you thinking at? What are you looking at? Take us all into that.
Getting through the finish line, it's kind of crazy because when I finished, it was dark. So there's lights everywhere. They're getting your picture taken. And I crossed that finish line and I kind of just felt like relief. I was happy to be finishing this huge goal that I had for the whole year. And it was kind of surreal. Like, I was like, I can't believe all of my 6 months of training. Like, I'm done.
Yeah.
But then you have a huge, long, like 1.5 mile walk out of Central Park. So you finish. You gotta go. You walk up, I don't know, maybe 3 yards or so. You get your medal. I thought you were getting your medal as soon as you cross that finish line.
Yeah.
You're not. You gotta walk a little bit. Then you get your medal. Then they put the little like blanket over top of you.
Yeah.
You get your little goodie bag, but then you got another like 3/4 of a mile walk out of there.
I was about to say you're entering Central Park all the way up there on the top entrance of Central Park, and then you have to walk all the way down to basically where the Apple Store is, and up. Oh my God, I feel so. I was about to say, and so King, it is right. Where you're in New York, from where that's in downtown. The 9/11 Memorial is in downtown Manhattan. Okay, you're not even close to Midtown, and then Central Park becomes its own area, and then north, basically 125th, is Harlem. You could spend an entire day, 3 days, and not get to everywhere in New York.
Yeah.
And I will mention this. I completely, the thing that's always at a premium, and always the thing you would want to do when you're in New York, is to know where you're going to park. And the best way, thank God New York's easy, and it's got, the grid layout from,
Mm-hmm.
from once you get past lower Manhattan. Once you get up to, that, you're able to figure out. But yeah, trying to find the best place to park and how much you're paying to park, that's an easy $80 to $100 right there for the entire day. Kid you not. If you're not staying in New York City, you are definitely paying for some premium, and you're trying to figure out where to park at Upper East Side. Unless you've got some, great money, you are no parking anywhere near Central Park. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I get it. The New York, an hour and a half, like what, about another mile and a half it took you to get to your car to get out of New York City?
Yeah, well, we were staying, and I thought I picked a hotel close enough to Central Park, but it
Yeah.
was still like a 35, 40-minute walk. And I was like, after I already walked an extra mile after the finishing the marathon, so I was not feeling hot.
Yeah,
That.
let me and you didn't want to take the subway, did you?
No, overcrowded, insane.
Oh yes, yes, yes. It would have been ridiculous. And I probably would have told you the bus might have been the best answer, I would have said. But after running 26 miles, what the hell's another 1.5 mile walk, right?
Exactly.
You
Easy
see,
peasy.
you see, King. And by the way, Jay, just so do you know how long? Do you know what the furthest King ever ran was?
No, I don't.
A 5K.
5K.
5K is still awesome.
Yeah. That is the longest I have ever voluntarily ran, as I'm an Air Force veteran, and depending on your unit or your job, like you might have
Mhm.
a PT commander that's gung ho about it, and what choice do you have at that point? But no,
Yeah.
I volunteered, ran 1 5K, and I said that shit is it for me. There's a comment on Facebook where somebody said that you basically did a mini marathon to cool down after your
Yeah.
regular marathon.
Yeah, I feel like it was good that I kept my legs moving for a little bit after running.
That's
Were you
Probably
awesome.
helped.
were you cramping, or was there a lot of cramping along the route?
Um, I did my like one quad kept cramping right above the knee.
Hmm.
Luckily people had a lot. They were giving out like icy hot to random strangers. They would like rub your body down if you needed it. So it was helpful along the way.
Please tell me they weren't creepy.
They weren't. They weren't.
Okay, good.
What was your goal, and did you make your finishing time close to what your goal was?
Uh, well, my absolute goal was to just, as this being my first marathon, was to just finish like strong and not dying crossing the finish line. So that was done. Time goal, my time goal was way off.
Okay,
I was hoping, I'm a slow runner. I'm gonna put that out there. Very slow.
that's me.
I say I'm not a runner, even though I just ran a marathon, but my goal was like 5 hours. I ended up doing 6 hours and 25 minutes, I think. Way slower than I anticipated. Granted, I was running with a partner who hurt herself around mile 20, maybe. So we were walking a lot of it. And I didn't want to just leave her behind because we helped each other through this whole thing. Um, which I think might have helped me because I had a good vibe throughout the entire race. Maybe if I was only solely focused on the time, I would have pushed myself to a point where I was not having a good time. So I'm happy with finishing with a smile on my face.
Dope. Nah, what was that first thing that you ate or drank after crossing the finish line and being able to just chill and relax? What was that first meal?
Loaded cheese fries. That was the first thing. And I chugged water. I thought it was going to be celebratory cocktail or anything after that. Nope. I just wanted water and cheese fries.
All right. Now I've got, let me see, 2 more questions here.
Yeah.
This one's one of those big picture, let's zoom out thing. Was there anything that running the New York City Marathon, anything that you learned or anything that it taught you?
Yeah, I would say I feel like I'm so much more than these fake limits that I'm putting on myself, like these perceived limits that I have for myself. Finishing this, because before I was like, I will never run a marathon. I'm not a runner. That's not in my cards, never ever. But then I just got stubborn and I was like, no, you can do this. And I think you can always push yourself a little bit more outside of your comfort zone, and it just keeps expanding.
That's dope. Now, Coach, prior to me asking my final question, was there anything that you'd like to ask?
I just want to ask one. So, Jay, New York City Marathon, that obviously one of the very famous ones.
Yep.
The Boston Marathon, real good famous one. So the military does have a pretty famous one. That's the Marine Corps Marathon held in Washington D.C.
Yes.
The Army does have a 10-miler, and the Air Force has their 5-mile prance or something like that. Yeah, okay, you got that one, King. So I want to ask, just in the future, are you looking at possibly doing another one of those distant runs, and possibly one of the ones, supporting one of the branches of the military?
Yeah, I think that would be incredible. I would absolutely love to do another marathon. Me and my husband were already talking about possibly moving on to ultra marathons. But if we're still in the Maryland area, I think that would be incredible because I did a half marathon in DC last year. So doing the Marine Corps, I saw videos of it. I didn't even know it was a thing. And it just, why not? It's right here. The new DC is gorgeous. It would be a really cool place.
Awesome. So
yeah,
I wish you best of luck if you do a future one.
Thank you. Hopefully a little better time.
Heck yeah.
My final question for you, and then I'm going to play this really dope video that you sent. What advice would you give someone who wants to run it next year and it's their first time?
Oh, just do it. Just pull the trigger and try it. Put your name in for the lottery. Don't go for charity. Just if it works out, then do it. Why not?
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to play this video and I might ask you something off of the video. I thought it was dope because it sounded very customized. So if there's a story with it, stay on after the video and let us know the story behind this video. But here's a video of Jay, and it sounds like supporters as she is going through the New York City Marathon. Take a look.
Hey, Juliet's mom. Got 1 mile down, girl.
Uncle Jimmy would be so proud of you for doing this.
Kudos to you, sweetie. We love you.
I'm so proud of you.
And maybe do a little dance.
What up, you gay bitch? You're only 9 miles in, so if you stop now, you're gonna fucking hate yourself.
Hey, Juliet, it's your cousin Bree. I cannot believe you are doing this. This is incredible.
You are allowed to doubt yourself at times because when you need to feel scared, you can do so knowing I believe in you enough for the both of us.
Best I ever did on a treadmill was 14 miles, so you've already surpassed me.
Keep plugging away. Keep going, little girl.
You are doing the damn thing.
We're here.
All right, keep rolling.
Ever since you were little, the second that someone told you that you couldn't do something, you made it your mission to prove them wrong.
I would have cried because it sounds like you might not have known that video was going to be coming to you. So tell us about that video. How did you feel the first time that you saw it?
Well, I kind of put the video together after the marathon, but all of the voice memos in the background, there's this really cool app that came out called Rally, and people can go in and pick a mile and leave you a voice note for every single mile of your race.
That's cool.
And And while you're going through, once you pass that mile, it plays in your headphones for you. So it was really surreal. A lot of laughing and crying during the race because I would just be going and then all of a sudden I would hear one of those voice memos throughout the course. So that definitely really helped, like, keep the momentum going. And you don't know who sent you one until the mile comes up. So it was really, really cool.
Man, that's dope. I like that. And I said, man, that right there, as long as you made your goal, whatever your goal was, and this is to anybody out there, whatever your goal was, and then just to have that type of support like that where people leave those personalized notes, that would have been fantastic. So thank you for sharing that video. Thank you for sharing your story, Jay. And I'm glad that you were able to come on. Now, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
We were supposed to do this last weekend, weren't we? Oh, I'm sorry. Last week?
No, I think it was this week.
Okay, good. Because I was like, hold up. I know we canceled the show last week, and then I re-engaged with you. Like, hey, just want to make sure that you're good. And then after I engaged with you earlier, I was like, wait a minute. I think I asked her to come on last week, but I couldn't recall.
Nope, you're good. This week
Great.
It is.
All right. Well, hey, Jay, thanks for coming on here at WTF Nation Radio. You were awesome, by the way. You're like a natural. I don't know if you do this for a living, but that was fantastic.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me. I had a great time.
Awesome. Tell the over there, nice mustache.
I will, for sure.
All right. See ya. That was Jay, the accountant that ran the New York City Marathon. I was fascinated by the people that ran it. Like I said at the beginning, folks from all walks of life went and did through it. And I was inspired enough to support other people, but not inspired enough to go out and run a marathon myself.
Man, I gave up tobacco and nicotine this year. I think, something healthy. There's been things that I've been wanting to do for a while. And, her telling me that, her saying that she just did it because just to go out and do it. I'm going to take that into consideration. There's some stuff I want to do in 2026 that, I really want to get in shape for and get out of this freaking disgusting, fatness that I'm currently in. So I think I'm going to get doing that. By the way, did you see the message that I just sent you?
Yes.
So I was going to say, is that going on this? Is that going on this show, or is that going on your show on the other channel?
Let's announce it because the Smoke Pit might talk about it a little bit as well. So, Coach, you have the floor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. The government is back open. Yes, the vote has been cast. Everything has been done. I just looked online. Government is back open. So pretty sure if you guys bring it up tonight over on the Smoke Pit with Radar and TZ, they might be talking about that. If not, I don't think that you're going to be hearing them. Well, you might be hearing a little bit about it come Thursday, because that will be a little bit regarding military pay coming back and not having to worry about it now. And by the way, applause, absolute freaking applause to Sergeant Major of the Army, retired Tony Grinston. My God, he has been, spearheading the help of all the AER people, and I'm really, hats off to him for giving back and still leading after retirement. Kind of gives all those that are doing, the veteran services something to aspire to, and showing the leadership still continues outside of the military for the better of everybody, for the better of the soldier, for the better of the veteran. Thank you, Tony. Appreciate that. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the government's back open. Hopefully flights start getting back online. King, does that mean you're going to get back to work?
Yes, I actually just got a text message from the emergency. It's an emergency alert, so it looks like an automated type thing, and it came through 2 minutes ago. That
Oh,
said, emergency alert into government shutdown. All VA employees, blah blah blah. I don't mind sharing where I work at because it's on my LinkedIn page.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, government's back up and running, and the Jets still suck, even though they've won 2 freaking games in a row.
Man. Okay. Hey, look. That.
Speaking of that, and
Yeah.
by the way, if y'all want to really hear something real good, go back to the beginning of the show. We got a new intro song. Little tweaks need to be made because it had us on Sunday. But
Uh-huh.
nice little jab you threw in there about the New York sports teams. All right,
I did that for you and for CQ.
I like that one. That's a good one. That was a good one. That's a good one.
I was
All
like,
right.
I hope coaches paying attention.
I did. Now look, if you somehow sneak a Roll Tide into it next week, all
Just
right,
give me an idea.
let's sneak a Roll Tide into the theme song because I know it's AI generated. If we could somehow edit the Sunday or what Sunday to Wednesday, add something with Roll Tide. And then I don't know. I think that I think we got. Maybe we can evolve it later on, but that would be my recommendation.
No doubt. All right, let me get in here. I gotta take the chats off of the screen for a second here so that I can showcase the next thing that we're going to talk about here. We have a fantasy football league here at WTF Nation Radio where the winner is going to receive pair of Jordan 1s and $80 gift card to Amazon. When I take a look at how things were last week, let me go back in here and then I'm gonna hit the share screen button. Let's do this. All right, I got out here. Yep, go ahead.
No, go ahead. When you get to me, I got to give an assessment. Yeah, because I'm all right. I'm not making excuses, but
okay.
Yeah.
So before we begin, I'm just gonna make an announcement to Spanky's Tacos Eaters and T's Impressive Team. I put both of y'all on auto. It's been about 3 weeks since y'all got in and managed y'all's team. I understand that life happens, but this is one of the things that if you're in a free league that I don't like doing free leagues for because you don't have any skin in the game. So I know that this is their first time doing it and it might not have been a priority and it is what it is. So I've put y'all on auto. You can still come in, log in, and manage your team. And if you do, it'll take you off of auto. But the league should still be competitive with people actively managing their team. So they got put to auto. I didn't tell nobody. I just did it. All right. So there are several teams that finished last week to be 7-3 coming out of week 10. There weren't any sweats to end last week, and Riley Reed's options put up 163 points, which they had all of the nuts. Essentially, if you had Jonathan Taylor, and some people had Jonathan Taylor and Achane on their team, which ended up in another league. I mean, somebody had those two, which ended up being two of the highest scoring people out of last week and damn near put up 200 points while doing it. But you've started to make a decent comeback. So walk us through how you feel about your team, even though it's not.
I am going to say this because when the bye-mageddon happened and 8 teams were on the bye week, that not only screwed up on that one, but then my week before it got screwed up and my week after it got screwed up. So I have about 3 weeks that because of the buys and because of Lamar Jackson and because of fucking I am never drafting AJ Brown again. AJ Brown, you have fucked me this season. You have truly fucked me this season. And Lamar Jackson, you fucked me twice. Okay, that whole you're gonna play and then the game of you don't freaking play. Yeah, you screwed me on that one because I couldn't freaking play Gino that week. And yeah, Gino wasn't able to go on. I couldn't figure out until you were already started. I had you down and I couldn't go after that game. You screwed me on there. And then I had to go to Geno Smith after one of the weeks and you screw me again. Oh my God. AJ Brown, you disappoint me. Sam Laporta, you are a great tight end. But damn, man, AJ Brown. Who in the hell would have thought he was my second pick?
In a PPR league.
Don't you remember? Yeah. I took him before I took Brees, and I took him, before any other receiver that was off. Damn. And he killed me this year. He is killing me this year.
Let me ask you, as you are one of the creators of this league, let's say one of the auto teams pulls out, makes it to the playoffs, and win. Do we give the prize to that team for not managing?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
No, if they're on an auto, they are. No, if they're on an auto, they are automatically, unless they come in to manage it. That's the only way. But unless they take the auto off, like if you're in the playoffs and you're on an auto, you're not going to be the champion.
Got you.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of AJ Brown, I just saw an article that just got posted about an hour ago, written by Tim McManus over on ESPN. Says that unapologetic AJ Brown upset at the Eagles offense as a whole.
I mean, I'd be pissed off too. Look, they're not getting him the ball. They've been inconsistent when they have been getting him. And he's also been out as well. So he's got a lot of things he could be pissed off about because he is that type of receiver. And for some reason or another, he's just not getting the ball. And I don't know what the hell's wrong with him.
Yeah. Huh. Now, let's stick to the NFL. One of the biggest storylines that we could talk about was how the Jets put out a win against Cleveland. Tell us a little bit about that before I get into the one that I'm going to bring up.
All right. So, look, when I saw, I watched the highlights of the game on Red Zone channel. I was actually watching the Sao Paulo Grand Prix for the Formula One race for the majority of that time, which was won by Lando Norris, and he'll end up winning the championship. But and that's where I am with the Jets season, because regardless if they win, it's not going to matter. All they're really doing is just messing up their draft order, and part of me wants them to have more losses so they finally get the number one pick, because I felt that there's been years where if they had the number one pick, they would have had a better quarterback than the ones that they fucked up on. But anyway, regardless of that, I truthfully did not watch anything, and when I was surprised when my uncle texted me and said that they were up 14-0 or 14-7 on a punt return and a kickoff return, and I couldn't believe it. And then I couldn't believe a stat that was an all-time Jets stat. The Jets were up 17-7, and at that point, Justin Fields had -7 passing yards.
Yes. That's what I was going to bring up.
He owed the NFL passing yards. I'm serious here. Hockey does not have, they have a plus minus, but that's like an advanced stat. But hockey doesn't have anything where you can be negative. Baseball, you don't have a negative ERA or a negative, batting average. Your turnovers aren't taken away as you have negative turnovers. Every statistic that you have in the NBA adds up. Only in the NFL could you technically owe the league yards, okay? Justin Fields owed the NFL 7 yards to get back to nothing, Okay, that's beyond broke. You have to pay the NFL to be broke. That's how bad he is. Okay, and the fact that he left that he 56 yards and 42 of them were on a screen pass to Brees Hall, who broke that open for the touchdown and basically gave them the win because Cleveland can't do anything on offense whatsoever, regardless of who's quarterback. But yeah, that was a game that both teams um I'm not going to say didn't want to win, but both teams played to lose, and one of them played to lose more than the other.
It's so bad, y'all. Like, if you understand football, listen to these stats. Cleveland had 278 total yards. New York Jets, 169. Now, this is offensive yards.
Yep.
169. How many turnovers did Cleveland have? None. Jets had one. So
that was Justin Fields' first interception of the year, which is unbelievable because, well, even when he doesn't throw it, he just doesn't throw it anywhere near anybody.
Yep. And Coach, I got more stats to get through. So let's just start there. The team that had more total yards and 0 turnovers lost. Let's get deeper into this. 23 first downs by Cleveland.
Yep.
The New York Jets, 12.
Yep.
Cleveland was 6 for 16 on third down conversions. It's below average. It's still better than 3 and 11 that the Jets have.
Yeah.
No fourth down conversions because they just didn't go for it. The Jets had 2 trips in the red zone. How many points did they get when they were in the red zone? None. Cleveland in the red zone twice. They got points 1 out of the 2 times.
Yeah.
Time of possession. Cleveland had the ball for 9 more total minutes than the Jets have. They beat them in every category except for special teams. The special teams for the Jets are what showed up. And the Browns still lost that game. That's a Jets way of it's like if you're talking of one way of losing a game, you either go, yeah, that makes sense for the Cleveland Browns. You can say, yeah, that makes sense for the New York Jets, or you can say, yeah, that makes sense for the New York Giants, especially with the way that their team is, showed up, and it led to the Giants firing their head coach last week.
With Dable. And I know we were going to get to that here in a minute, but just to end it on the Jets, yes, that is one of the most typical Jet ways of doing this. And like I said, it's going to be this way as the Jets. We want them to suck so bad, but what's going to end up happening is that Tennessee is going to end up being worse. And then there's going to be a 3-way tie, and then Cleveland is going to have the same record, and Cleveland's going to have another pick ahead of us. And then it's going to be sad because they're going to take another quarterback, okay, because this is Cleveland. And Cleveland does stupid stuff like we do. And they're going to take a quarterback, and then we're going to reach on a quarterback with the pick right behind Cleveland. and it will just be repeated stupidity, and Aaron Glenn will have a worse record in his second year, much like his old coach, Rich Kotite. But at least he is a head coach, and unlike Brian Dable, who is not a head coach, and I will say that there is a damning statistic of his coaching and his in-game management being the reason for this firing, regardless of how many injuries this team has and how terrible Russell Wilson is.
I just saw that they announced that Jameis Winston is going to be the starter for their Week 11 game.
Yes, and as he should be. Jackson Dart, let him sit for the next couple of weeks. Let him sit, for the next couple of weeks in this concussion protocol. Let Jameis go out. And I say this because Dable's desperation move was to start Jackson Dart. And when he went 2 out of 3, things were going well. But losing 3 games where in the fourth quarter you have a 93% chance of victory, a 96% chance of victory, and a 99% chance of victory in the fourth quarter. And in all 3 of those games, the game against Chicago, the game against I believe it was against New Orleans, and then the one that they just had a couple weeks ago, where they just lost that entire lead when Scatterboo got injured. Regardless of whether you beat the Eagles or not, you had some terrible losses, and Brian Dable needs to take the blame for that. He might be great with working with a quarterback like Jackson Dart, but he was at one. You have to look at the totality of what he had after a 9-6-1 or a 9-7-1 first season. He only won 21 games over the next 4. And it's not good. That's not good. Actually, no, I take that back. He won 11 over the next 4. Yeah, that's not good. So him being fired doesn't surprise me whatsoever. I just find it funny that the New York's football teams have not been this bad together in quite a long, long time. Before I was even born. In the years that the Giants were bad, there was only like maybe 1 year, like 95 or so, that the Giants were bad and the Jets were bad. There hasn't been a prolonged, terrible streak like this in New York football for quite a while. I think since the 70s. But they are absolutely terrible. My God, are they terrible? The Giants are terrible. The Meadowlands is horrible. I feel sorry for any person right now. And and you know what? There are more away fans going to the Meadowlands to go to games than there are at home fans. And I don't blame them whatsoever. Let the away fans go in. They want to go into New York. They want to go watch the games. I encourage you to up the fucking price and let them sit wherever the hell they want, okay? Because, this team's not worth it. Neither one of the teams are, especially the Jets. They're truly not worth it whatsoever. Much like the Yankees, how I don't want to freaking give them any more of my money. I'm not giving any more of my money to the Jets. I will watch you on I will only watch you on when you're on CBS. I will not watch you when I'm on a pay channel unless you are on the Red Zone channel from now on.
Hey.
In fact, you know what? I'm going to be ticked off. I'm not. Oh, fuck. I almost forgot. Tomorrow night, they're on Amazon Prime playing the Patriots. Oh.
Yep.
Jesus, a Thursday night game. That's going to be even worse. Justin Fields, let's see how many yards he's going to owe the NFL. And that's the great thing about an Amazon game too, is that you can go ahead and pull up that fucking stat menu right on the screen.
Do you think that there's a chance in hell that the Jets actually beat the Patriots, in which the Patriots are, let me see if I can bring up the odds real quick. Let's see. The odds are, so it's a total 44.5 point game where the Patriots are favored to win by 10.5 points.
A 10.5 point favorite. Let's be okay, King. Seeing that you and I know a little bit about betting, there is something that we have noticed regarding bets, is that the mean or the average bet that you will most likely see as far as a blowout is 7 to 7.5. A touchdown is usually what the difference is on a large bet, and that's what you would consider a victory. To go over a touchdown is very damn dangerous in the NFL. But it also an inept team to have a double-digit spread. And the New York Jets offense are absolutely inept, regardless of who starts that. I wish Tyrod Taylor would start, but Justin Fields will end up starting. And he'll end up being terrible. And then he'll end up getting replaced by Tyrod Taylor in the fourth quarter. Yeah.
Hey, look at the most recent schedule.
Fuck, I hate my team.
Not only have the Jets won, but they've covered the spread and the over both times.
Okay, but look at the teams that they did. Look at the teams that they. And on top of that, I got to say something about Cincinnati. Cincinnati's defense is absolutely putrid.
Garbage truck.
Joe Flacco is having gun contests with any single one of the quarterbacks he's going against because he's got that offense going great over there in Cleveland, in Cincinnati. But damn, that defense is terrible. That defense is the worst defense I have ever seen in the NFL. You know, they gave up the Chicago. They made Caleb Williams look like a Pro Bowl quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But then Cleveland, let's be as blunt as I can, it was special teams that won that for the Jets. And if you have to rely on special teams for you to win games, that you probably only get that once, maybe twice during the year. And in no way is Devin Hester on the Jets.
Now, Coach, there was one of the games that occurred last week that had some people talking about it was the Detroit Lions coming in town and putting a mollywhopping on the Marcus Mariota-led Washington Commanders. And speaking of Commanders, the Commander-in-Chief was at the game, and the Trump dance.
I'm on Ross St. Brown. Yeah.
I'm in Ross St. Brown, who got slapped a little bit later on in this game, ended up scoring and doing the Trump dance. How do you think he did on this Trump dance, Coach?
I think it was a good one. I just, I kind of laughed when he pointed to look for him and then started doing it. He went and pointed to him. All right. Now look, we cannot care regardless of what side of the aisle was. If like Obama had a dance, I would like point up to him and fucking dance too. Okay.
Right.
You know, if Joe Biden was in the stands, I'd point at him and I'd look like a fucking moron, or I'd eat vanilla ice cream, or shit my pants like he did. But if I score a touchdown and do that, yeah, that would have been. I would have done the same damn thing. Okay, and regardless of what side of the aisle it is, it's kind of funny that he did it, because you know what? Somebody should have. I wish one of the referees would have thrown the flag, because then it would have become a political issue. Trump dance is now an NFL penalty.
There were a couple of things about this game that stood out to me. First of all, being that Trump became the first sitting U.S. president to attend a regular season game since Jimmy Carter did it in 1978. The president also arrived via the Air Force One, which made a flyover of the stadium before he arrived. I thought that was actually interesting, to do the flyover with the Air Force One. From my notes, that's never been done before.
I don't think they've,
not with the Air Force One.
Okay, and I'm trying to think. He went to the Super Bowl. He also went to the national championship. I don't think he was. Yeah, you're right. I don't think he ever did a flyover with that, and
not with the Air Force One.
Yeah, and where did he land? Did he land over in at Edwards?
I couldn't find that information.
I mean, I'm about to say, how far away is the drive from Edwards to Landover?
Ooh, I've been to.
Yeah, I know you've been up around that area. That's why I didn't.
But I can't think of it. Yeah, and just like I can imagine wherever he landed, that you had that presidential treatment getting from the airfield to the stadium.
Yeah, he definitely took Air Force 2 or Marine. Yeah, the what's it called? Not the Marine Corps 1. He would take in the helicopter over there.
There was two other things to highlight about this game. One, military related, as we are a military affiliated type show, and the other sports related. During halftime, Trump led an on-field oath of enlistment ceremony for service members as part of the league's military tribute, or the Salute to Service Week that they do, which I thought that was pretty dope. There were several boos and things that occurred during that, but I still thought that was pretty cool to have a sitting president do that for you is an experience that not everybody's gonna have the opportunity to do.
Yeah.
And then he also appeared during the broadcast to speak alongside the commentators, and they brought up his old football picture where he told people that he played a tight end, and did his commentary. Which look, he'd probably be, you know what? No, I'm gonna say I'd be better doing sports commentary than our president. But that's just
King
me.
doesn't know anything about football. I'm not. I know I'm the best with football. Period. I'm always going to be the best. Best with football. I had a football team in the USFL. You got to remember that I had the New York football team in the USFL. I know more about football than you do.
That was very good.
No, you don't.
I like
Hey,
that.
actually, you know what the fuck? Oh, God. I can't. Never mind. I don't even remember where the hell I was going to go with that one. But yeah.
All right, now let's get over and give some NCAA football coverage. Actually, real quick, and we have to keep this brief because we are coming up on time. We didn't talk about the World Series champions. I don't believe we did.
Fuck them. Who cares?
All right, moving on.
Exactly.
Week 11 in NCAA football. First of all, my Alabama Crimson Tide ended up beating the LSU Tigers at home 20-9. The Indiana game, that game ended with probably what I'm going to say is early catch of the year candidate because of the impact and just the athleticism that it took for the receiver to make that catch and get 1 foot down for it to count as a touchdown. And they survived against a Penn State team in which not many people thought that Penn State even had a chance in that game, and pulled out a win. Did you watch that game?
I saw the highlights and I did see that catch. That was one of those highlight reel. One of the freaking. I couldn't believe that. And I hats off to the referee or to the side judge for being in a perfect position to see where the foot actually came down inbounds as he was coming out and keeping the possession the whole time. So definitely hats off to the referee. That was one of those great passes, one of the great catches that you're going to remember for a while. Like, what's his name from Texas Tech? Crabtree's from Texas Tech was the last one I can really remember like that. This one, God, I can even remember Westbrook's Hail Mary with Cordell Stewart from Colorado in 93 or 94. That's one of those catches that I'm always going to remember too. So it's on that same thing.
Yep. Let's see. Wake Forest pulled out favorite to lose to Virginia by 6.5 points, and they beat Virginia 16-9, capping off a game in which they were led by their defense that created 3 turnovers. So shouts out to the Demon Deacons over at Wake Forest for the upset against the number 14th ranked Virginia Cavaliers. Cal. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness, Cal. Yeah. Cal beat the number 15 Louisville Cardinals. Louisville was favored to win by 18 and lost to the California Golden Bears 26-29. I saw that score because I didn't watch that game. I saw that score and said there is no freaking way that Cal pulled that off.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, buddy, I didn't watch the game, so I can't really comment on that. But I do want to ask you something, because looking at the way that the college football landscape has kind of weared itself out, and I know you're looking at with Bama being 4 into the college football playoffs, but what was a little bit harder to predict this season, college football or the NFL?
I would say college football.
Really?
In my opinion, college football would have been harder to predict than the NFL. And part of the reason why stemmed from one of the other games in which Texas A&M came out and won against Missouri. And the Missouri head coach,
Yeah, saw that.
Eli Drinkwitz, had a lot to say about that. And the biggest thing being is he said, let's not kid ourselves. Texas A&M didn't win with heart. They won with money. They buy stars, they buy attention, and they buy victories. This isn't football anymore. Dressed up in shoulder pads. While we're over here building something real with kids who play for the love of the game and not for a paycheck.
You know, you can say that about almost every freaking football powerhouse.
You can.
You can say that about every Division One FCS or no FBS, excuse me, FBS team. In fact, you could probably say that to any of those ranked teams. In fact, well, I take that back. Maybe Indiana is not one of them, but out of the top 10, every single one of them that I see are an absolute football powerhouse. Even going in from 11 through 20, including Vanderbilt, they're still a football powerhouse. Missouri has had some great players throughout the years. Regardless of how much money is being done, everybody has the chance to bring in some money. Is there haves and have-nots? Yes, but I don't believe A&M is actually paying more people to have more. There's Ohio State, fuck yeah, but I don't see A&M doing that same way, and they're paying more people in NIL deals. You could say the same about all of these ones. In fact, remember how we were talking about how much money all the people were getting in? Yeah, $250 to $300 million a year just by these football players. Okay, if they're truthfully putting all of that money back into it and they're paying players, then you need to, well, out fucking do them. Okay. This is the thing I hate. And now, unfortunately, this is the business of college football. Okay. We no longer have ADs. You have GMs now who run this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to be a free market? Well, you are now a free market. I know East Carolina is going to be one of the smaller market teams. So they have to find ways to compete on different levels through transfer portals, through finding local talent and hopefully recruiting them. But if you're Missouri, you have to get better in that way. So find the better way to do it. Regardless of how it is, everybody's got a free market. Everybody's going to do it that way. And guess what? This is what you fucking wanted. And if that's not fair to you, then go to the NCAA about it and cry the poverty. But you're talking about $1 billion business that has gotten rid of so much history over the past 25 years just in the pursuit of more money to go into the pockets of the schools and not into the athletes until recently. Cry me a fucking river.
I use the thing, if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yep. If you can't beat them, join them. There was some, I'm not going to call it breaking news because this was to be expected. The NCAA did come out and regarding the Michigan State team, they are on 3 years of probation for violations that occurred during Mel Tucker's tenure as coach. The violations occurred due to the participation of 3 ineligible players, and the Spartans will vacate all 14 wins from 3 seasons. So they didn't get the penalty against them, but it is pretty substantial as when it comes to recruiting and things, you know, folks are going to take a look at the program, and I don't think it matters what coach is there. You're going to see, you know, how they're going to be impacted by this, and a recruit's going to possibly think twice. Now, money talks.
Oh, yeah.
Money talks. But Michigan State's going to be penalized $30,000 plus 1.5 of the budgets, the football budgets program. But for the 2024 season, that budget was $58.6 million. So 1.5, yeah, like it's a lot of money, but it's a drop in the bucket.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to. You know how much that is?
Yes. What's the calculation?
900,000.
Yeah, that's a lot.
900,000.
Actually, it is a lot of money when I think about it. The Spartans also face restrictions on official and unofficial visits, recruiting communications, recruiting persons, days, and off-campus recruiting contacts and the evals over that probationary period. So it's going to make it that much harder for them to get those high recruits to come in for the program. And if you forgot, Mel Tucker was also the same coach that was fired for cause in 2023, which we covered that here on the Sports Bar after he was accused of sexual harassment. So that program is gonna really have to. You would need that athletic director / GM to really turn things around over there.
Yeah. You know what? You might as well try to get an alum to go do it. And he's been pretty successful. Let's go get Magic Johnson to come over and be the GM over at freaking Michigan State. That's what they need to do. Get him away from the Dodgers. Get him away from the Lakers. Bring him back over there to Michigan State and have him turn it into a powerhouse. By the way, I've got something that's an unbelievable stat right now. Okay.
Yeah.
So. Magic Johnson. I actually heard him after, this is going back to the World Series. 1 or 2 days after the World Series, Magic Johnson said, "This is my 18th championship." And I just thought about that for a minute. I'm like, okay, give me a sec. Let me figure something out here. 18th championship. How does he have this? And I'd be damned if the fact that he wasn't part of the ownership group during the Lakers' freaking 6 championships, the 5 championships that he won, and then he's been with the Dodgers now as part of that. And on top of that, he's also a part owner of the LA Sparks and the WNBA championship. So that guy has won 18 championships in total as like an owner, president, player, including national championship.
Everything he
think about that. Think about that for a minute. Magic freaking Johnson. We do call him one of the greatest players of all time. And there's no doubt that him and Bird were the freaking first log on the fire for the NBA. Okay, they walk so that Jordan could run is the best way, is what I've always said. But man, ever since then, Bird's been Bird. He didn't win any championships, with Indiana. Jordan's hasn't won anything, and he's been one of the worst owners, GMs in sport history. But man, Magic just kept winning. He's been winning ever since ever since Michigan State. It was just something I thought about, like that dude has won in every venture. I mean, he opened up his movie theaters, and those were movie theaters that, all in the bad areas of LA, and they weren't shut up because they were Magic's. He's been part of the Dodgers ownership team, the Lakers ownership team, the Sparks ownership team. He owns, I don't know, he probably owns the hockey team too, for crying out loud. But man, he has been that successful in a lot of his ventures. That's something. That's admirable, man. That's admirable.
It is. I mean, that says that he has a good business mind, that whatever he's doing, I think that his formula should be studied and copied. If he got out and either taught some classes or wrote a book about it, which he might end up doing somewhere down the line, it would likely sell great as the guy. I mean, as you point out, the dude's a winner.
Yeah. Now, if we really want an ownership class, we got to talk about the guy who just owns everything that he promotes, Shaq. Now that motherfucker, he will put his name on anything that he owns. He owns the General. He's got ownership in the General.
The
You know,
big Shaq.
yeah, that
Shaq would be
motherfucker.
a pretty cool dude to interview on
Yeah.
WTF Radio. Let's put that out there. Shaq,
Yeah.
if you're listening, we love to have you on the WTF Nation Radio. The vets love you. Now, let's take a look at the upcoming matchups for Week 12 in NCAA football. The biggest one, let me start somewhere else first. Alabama's playing Oklahoma, and right now, Bama's favored to win that game by 5.5 points. I think that game this Saturday at 3:30 over on ABC, that's going to definitely be the one that I'm clued into, as that's going to have some major impacts in how things play out in the SEC. This Friday, Clemson, who's 4-5, travels to play Louisville. Now, Louisville's favored to win that game by 3.5 points. That's a small spread. I think Clemson beats Louisville on the road.
Man, Clemson, Debo's got to find something to fight for, and hopefully getting bowl eligibles there. I don't know if I agree with you on that one, man. I think Debo's lost the team, and Clemson's going to be looking for a new head coach at the end of the year.
Ooh, clip that, editor. Clip that.
Please do.
Game traveling to Pitt, that was going to be a high, and that's one of the early Saturday afternoon games that could have some impact on the college football playoffs landscape. So people are going to be paying attention to that. But the cream of the crop matchup of all of the games this upcoming week, Texas at Georgia on Saturday night at 7:30 Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that game? And we'll wrap up today's show.
I've learned never to bet against Georgia in some of these big games unless it's Alabama. Okay. Part of me thinks of it this way. In every quarterback's career, there's always that one game that makes them stand out, and then you look at it and saying, well, after that performance in that game, he definitely decided to go pro. And there had been some talk about Arch Manning going pro at the end of this, but let's be quite honest with you. His performance has definitely not been one of the top quarterbacks of, the pro caliber. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But then there always is that one game. And that one time the quarterback just has a freaking phenomenal game. Wins it for him. Shows what he can be and shows the potential to everybody. Arch Manning's due. I have a feeling this game is going to be Arch Manning's coming out party.
I love it.
So I'm going to go against my history. I'm going to go with my gut. Say Arch is going to have a breakout performance. Texas is going to win. People on that Sunday are going to say, Arch Manning, really impressive. Either that or Arch Manning's going to fucking blow it and everybody's going to wonder if he's going to be a bust. Yep, that's what's going to end up happening. So I'm gonna put my bet down on this one, and I think that Arch Manning is going to break his shell, and he's going to show his worth and have one of those breakout games, and I'm going to have Texas winning.
I like that. When you take a look at what happened during each team's last game, Georgia won 41-21 over Mississippi State, in which Gunnar Stockton threw for 264 yards. He was 18 of 29, 3 touchdowns, no picks. The rest of the offense, they handled their business. Their defense is what, led them. And Mississippi State's no slouch, but they just weren't no match for Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Texas beat Vanderbilt 34-31, in which Arch went 25 of 33 for 328 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no picks thrown. The running back, Wisner, ended up carrying the ball for 18 carries, 75 yards, and a touchdown. And their defense did just enough to beat this year's darling in the SEC, in my opinion, Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you. I think that Texas has built enough momentum, and Arch Manning is going to have that game this week. And I actually said this yesterday, so it's funny that you brought this up. I think that Arch Manning is going to have that game in which he's going to change all of the pundits' thoughts about how they view him, and he is going to look like a true Manning quarterback and like a guy that is going to drastically raise people's opinion of him. And this is going to be the game on the road that he does it in.
I'm hoping it is. And like I said, I will definitely be looking at it. By the way, another team I will also be looking at, my Rainbow Warriors of the University of Hawaii, bowl eligible for the first time in multiple years. I wish they were going to be playing at the Sheridan Hawaii Bowl, but wherever they're playing, let's hope that it's at Les Murakami Stadium or the stadium over there at if they can have the Sheridan Hawaii Bowl again on campus. But yeah, UH is bowl eligible. Let's see if they. I like seeing Hawaii. Being in the college football and being good in college football. It was
nice.
I haven't. I don't think I've ever told you my UH story. Have I?
I don't remember.
Okay, so back growing up, when you were watching college football on Saturday, regardless of what you were doing, at 11 o'clock, 11:30, 12 o'clock, whenever you got home, if there was a game to be on, it would be on ESPN. And it was most of the time a home game for the University of Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
So as I'm going home and I'm doing, after hanging out with all my friends and doing whatever it was, I would go home and I would watch ESPN and fall asleep to it. And I would fall asleep to the University of Hawaii playing football on Saturday nights. That and ECW wrestling. And let me be honest with you, I kind of started liking Hawaii. It was always like, all right, college football, I've always been a Jet fan, and up in New York, you didn't really have college. You didn't really follow college football teams outside of frickin' Notre Dame, especially if you were Catholic. So that's the only team you really followed. And I'm like, you know what? I kind of like Hawaii. So Hawaii became my team. And then I was following Hawaii when June Jones was there, and they were, with when Tommy Chang first went there, and then the old guy, when they ended up going against Georgia in the BCS playoff. I can't remember the dude's name that was a quarterback then, but those times I kind of remember that. And then when I went to Hawaii, I went to a ton of games there, and I loved watching the football games over there at Aloha Stadium. So UH has always been one of my programs that I've always rooted for. And since the closure of Aloha Stadium, they've had to play their games on campus on their old practice field. And that stadium's not going to get built for like another 10 fucking years to replace the Aloha Stadium, just because they have to import everything into the island in order to get it going, because they don't have the resources, And there's a lot of political shit that happens with all of the buildings of everything. They were talking about closing the Aloha Stadium there when I was last there in 2012, and they had to close it during COVID because of how bad the rust was. I hope Hawaii. Wow. I hope Hawaii gets a new stadium and gets back to the bowl games, because it was great seeing the college football game there on Christmas Eve. It was great going to the Pro Bowl there. I just loved UH football and their basketball teams and all that. So UH is my third college that I root for. So good. I'm glad that they're bowl eligible this year.
Man, that's pretty dope. And I like the aspects of it around college football and pro sports. And I was talking to my lady about this one. The way that athletes get the chance to travel and see other places and experience different cultures. Like, even if you travel within the United States, the East Coast definitely has its own flavor versus the West Coast. Definitely a different flavor than the islands of Hawaii. So for these student athletes and staff to and see these other places, and some of these pro players, some pro players their first time getting overseas, even though they have slightly better wealth than others, is some of these NFL games. Like they may not think to travel overseas just on their own, or if they get in with good with some players that they've used their passports during the off season, they'll go places. But I know one professional athlete that has never been overseas. He doesn't have a desire to go. He's like, man, I can get different things anywhere in the U.S. My bad. I had to turn back because I thought my door just opened behind me.
You're all good. Hey, I got a good one for you right here. Just college football trivia. Who right now is on top of Conference USA? What college is the top seed in Conference USA?
Ew. Is it Miami of Ohio?
No, I guarantee you've never heard of this of this place.
Liberty?
No, not Liberty. No. I mean, come on, people have heard of Liberty.
Ugh. I can't think of all because there's like 16 teams in Conference USA.
The Kennesaw State Owls. Who the hell is the Kennesaw State Owls? I have never heard of Kennesaw State.
Let me see, because I think there's a Kennesaw, Georgia. Kennesaw
I got
State.
no idea where the hell these guys are. They probably
Kennesaw,
are.
Georgia. Yeah, Kennesaw, Georgia.
Yeah.
They are in the Atlanta metropolitan area.
All right. Well, hey, Kennesaw State is, in head of Conference USA right now. And you know what? I kid you not. I'm glad Delaware is finally in the FCS because they are bringing a great tradition to college football. That's the piss wall. Have you ever heard about that?
No.
Oh, man. You got to look up University of Delaware piss wall.
Will do.
Yeah.
Is that something that we could talk about live next week?
Yes, piss wall. Okay. Yes,
bet
it might be the best efficient thing ever. Yes,
nice, dope. All right, well, hey, Sports Nation, this was the Sports Bar here at WTF Nation Radio. We'd like to give a special thank you to Jay for coming on and talking about her experience running the 2025 New York City Marathon. Coach might be a mad person or a happy person. No, it really doesn't matter. If the Jets win tomorrow, you'll be happy but mad at the same time because it's just worsening.
No, I do get happy when the Jets lose, and I get upset when the Jets win. So let me put it this way. It has become to the part where I literally have an ongoing text message thread with my uncle, who's a Jet fan. And all throughout this season, I have sent him jokes. I have sent that, when he was in London, I was going to pay off some people over in London to, keep them over in customs and not return the team until, the whole team is fired or until Woody sold them, some type of taxation thing. I have asked him, what's the difference between the New York Jets and the bucket of shit, and replied back to him, the bucket. So it's been an ongoing thing. So as terrible as the Jets have been, it's very good, great comedy material. Yes,
nice.
So it's been good.
I love it. I love when you can smile.
Oh, I'm not fucking smiling. There's no fucking smile when I do it, but I angry laugh.
No doubt. Now, that is it from Coach and I here at the Sports Bar at WTF Nation Radio. Go grab some water, take your nightcap, as we are about to be off air, but then in a couple of minutes back on air, led by my main man, Radar, for the Smoke Pit here at WTF Nation Radio. Coach, close us out with final words.
All right. Well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, even if your fantasy football season has sucked, the NFL season has been as unpredictable as ever. The college football season has been as unpredictable as ever. There is something that's predictable that has come back. And yes, it's predictable that Hockey is now back, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, the most racist sport in the entire stratosphere of sports is now back. Yes. Why do I say that hockey is racist? Well, ladies and gentlemen, if anything is that white, yes, it has to be racist. In fact, if you have ever thought about it, the only thing that is on the ice that is black is the puck, and they slapped the hell out of that thing. So it's definitely glad to see that the most consistent and most predictable and most racist sport is back. Thank you, NHL. I told you I was going to bring that quote back up during the thing. I brought that up. So whoever the hell was in that group chat and said I said I was going to say it. Yep, there it is. The joke was in there. Told you.
Nice. Way to tie it back in. That's us here at WTF Nation Radio. I'm King. That's Coach. We are out. Peace.